I'm Steve Wilkerson, and I'm with Jim Saunders, Executive Editor of the News Service of Florida. Jim, Governor Scott announced this week a 3.6% rate cut in one of the largest taxes in Florida, the communication services tax. It touches residential subscribers, business subscribers. What does a 3.6% cut in the CST, as it's called in Tallahassee, amount to? Who will it help, and how will it be received in the legislature?
Well, the governor's office is saying this is a $470 million tax cut proposal. During his campaign, he promised $1 billion in tax cuts over 2 years. So it appears that he's trying to do as a first year major installment of that, the cutting the communication services tax. This has been an issue that's been around for several years. It's important, people pay this tax on their cell phone bills, their cable bills, and the numbers are a little bit difficult to discern a little bit in terms of how much it would save the average homeowner or average family. But the governor's office is saying it looks like a minimum maybe $40 a year. So, but it appears that the governor is trying to take a page out of what they did last year, which was to pass a bill that would have broad effects for a lot of Floridians. Last year it was reducing the vehicle registration fee. This year it's something, everybody's got a cell phone, most people have a cable bill, that it would affect each of those, those families, sort of a very broad-based way to approach it. $470 million is a lot of money.
I was about to say, it's $470 million potentially out of a finite amount of money that people are targeting to go to other possible tax cuts and other purposes.
I think it's important to remember this is only a proposal. I mean, the legislature's going to come in, look at this, and decide whether it is the way to go or whether to make cuts in other sorts of taxes. There's all sorts of competing tax proposals out there. One that the real estate industry has been pushing is a reduction in a tax on commercial leases. There's also the usual collection of sales tax holidays that is almost sure to reemerge. There's also, on the other side of the ledger, the legislature has to decide how to spend additional money. I mean, the governor wants more spending on public schools. They've got to figure out a way to finance that, as well as, they've talked already about trying to have healthy reserves. The Senate Appropriations Chairman now is Tom Lee, who's been a very outspoken person over the years on fiscal conservatism in terms of having adequate reserves. So I think those are kind of competing interests that we have to really watch. The governor, obviously tax cuts are a major part of everything he's done politically over the past 5 years. But communication services tax cuts have been a hard sell in the past. And part of the reason is because there's arguments that people really aren't going to notice it that much. I mean, if it's $5 a month on your cable bill or your phone bill, I mean, most people may not even understand their cable bill or phone bill. They're complicated. So, will they really notice that tax cut? So the governor's office in his press release and immediately was calling it the cable and cell phone tax cuts. They're not using the communication services tax label. They're calling it cable and cell phone tax cuts. So they're trying to make that message clear to people what it would do.
A long way to go, though, because we really haven't heard from the revenue estimators the amount of money that will be out there to divvy up among the various purposes that you named. So we'll see. We'll come back and talk about it some more.